Spider-Man, America's favorite superhero, and well, the hero with the most amount of glazers besides, I guess. Personally, I gotta say that I think he's my favorite blue and red wearing protagonist. Yeah, no, I lied. Oh, I got it. He's my favorite web-slinging hero. God damn. Okay, fine. I don't really have a super strong connection to Spider-Man besides, well, him. Nonetheless, I was excited to get this very cool looking Spider-Man figure, which is the amazing Yamaguchi Iron Spider from the Revoltech line. While I have very little knowledge of the comics and have since dropped the MCU, I personally have still always liked this design for Spider-Man. And this figure captures that suit well and is as comic accurate as well, I'd assume. I don't know, guys, my only experience with this guy is Ultimate Spider-Man, which I hear all of you guys hated. But I really do like the look of him. The shiny plastic mixed with the metallic gold pops really well and it makes him a standout figure. But I do have a couple complaints about the paint application. I did get a couple splotches on my copy, but they weren't too bad. It was just mostly on the chest piece, but luckily it's not too noticeable. And overall, I think the look they captured here is really nice, and I honestly don't think I would change anything about it. And now we get to the part that almost everyone came to the video for, the arms. And yeah, these things are alright. Out of the box, I actually hated these things and I thought they would be the figure's downfall. But after some time, I realized that 2 of the 4 arms had really weak connections. So after a couple joint swaps with the included joints, I was able to mediate the problem. To put on the arms, all you have to do is plug them into the 3 holes into his back. Although to put on all 4... it's an even bigger pain in the ass. Okay, so first you're gonna grab one of these 2 little clips that come included with the figure. You're gonna want to slide 2 of the arms into there, plug a joint into the clip itself, plug that into his back, and then add in 2 extra arms. And while yes, this seems pretty easy, it's honestly a lot easier said than done. And because of that, I usually only pose him with 3 claws instead of the 4 because it's just more convenient. And the look with the claws really completes the figure in my opinion and makes the figure really stand out on a shelf, as a lot of my recent figures that I've reviewed have done. And you can check those videos out, link in the description. And I gotta say, out of those 3, this guy I think might stand out the most, because while the Hux has his wings and the Kenshin has his cloth goods, this guy not only has a phenomenal looking color scheme, but he also has those big arms to really make him stand out. As for scaling, here he is with some other figures, and yeah, I don't really know how tall he's supposed to be, y'all. But I like how tall he is, so we're gonna move on to his accessories. And he actually doesn't have that many. He comes with 2 pieces of web fluid, and yeah, these are actually pretty great, and give Iron Spider some versatility that he really needed. To put them on his hands, all you gotta do is plug them into his whipping hand, and bam, you get Iron Spider squirting out white liquid. Speaking of hands, he comes with a pair of thwipping hands, a pair of open hands, a pair of wall crawling hands, and a pair of fists. The fists are a bit weird as they have holes that seem to be meant to hold something, but they can't hold the web, so I really have no idea what it's for. And as for faceplates, there are no faceplates. I was actually complaining about the lack of expressions to resident Marvel fan and my good friend Doodle Scrib, but he told me something around the likes of...
actually there isn't an expression since Iron Spider is technically a suit of armor, so he has no emotions.
So yeah, it's pretty sad. And finally, we get his last accessory, which is this little magnet that can attach to Spider-Man's back and make him simulate wall crawling. And this one actually works really well since the magnet is quite strong. Before we get into the articulation, now is a good time as always to tell you that my copy of the figure broke. Now, it wasn't me who broke it, and I'm not gonna point any finger. It was redacted. Redacted broke my figure. But luckily, my good friend Doodlescrib was able to give me his copy of the figure to finish the review. So thank you, Doodle, and rest in peace, my boy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
And that brings me to a good point, which is if this is your first figure, I actually don't recommend it for you, and I say that maybe you should start off with something smaller like a Marvel Legends, or figures with more gummier plastics and that are more forgiving on the joints. Because if you break this figure, you already invested a ton of money, and honestly, it's gonna leave a bad impression on you. But enough ranting, let's talk about his articulation. You get a ball joint at the head, ball joint at the neck. You can look up this far and look down this far. Ball joint at the chest, ball joint at the torso. A really helpful ball joint here. A double ball joint system right here. Full 360 at the arm. A bend at the elbow, which is also on a ball joint. Leg can kick out about this far, it can go back this far. Ball joint at the leg, swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee, which also has a hinge so you get a swivel here. Ball joint at this knee piece, ankle swivel here, and up and down at the foot, a really good ankle pivot, and a toe. And the articulation is absolutely incredible. Again, amazing Yamaguchi just knows how to make their Spider-Man figures, and this guy is insane. And I'd imagine that he's at least in the top 3 Spider-Man figures of all time. So with that being said, I think this figure is incredible. The paint is incredible, the sculpt is incredible, the accessories are all right, but everything about it is super good. Well, the only place where it seemingly falls flat is the arms, but I think it can be fixed, and overall, I can overlook that when the figure is this good. So overall, in a non-biased world where my figure didn't break, I would give this guy a 9 out of 10.